different. You've got different patrons, you've got different kids, they have different needs, you've got different teachers who have different needs. So I wanted my library to be welcoming to everybody, not just the students, not just the teachers, because we have a lot of meetings that come in afterwards. Now I kind of gave them the bottom priority and I gave the students the top priority. So I did tier the priorities in my library as to how we needed to fix the library. My library's broken into different rooms, and I have a classroom room because I am in the related arts rotation. So the tables that I had were like yay tall, very narrow, so you couldn't really do two students across from each other with their devices out. It didn't really work. And the pre-Kers, when they sat down next to the tables were like up here to them. So nothing was working. The people that came in for the meetings afterwards loved their seatings. I'm like, well, this is an elementary school. So I asked if I had a budget. Had no budget. I asked if I could move things, and I got the okay. So I started doing that. I also had 2 copiers in there for the teachers, and they had no workspace. They were crammed behind the circulation desk that was in the entryway of the library. I wanted to fix that too. So my circulation desk, probably from that wall to here, it was a very massive piece of furniture. I broke it apart. There was sections of it that I literally just broke apart and moved them around to help out. I've got a couple pictures of those as well. When I did this, I had asked for the permission, but I can't move furniture like that. So I put in a work order, and about 10 guys from district maintenance crew came in, and my principal happened to be in the front office when they did this, and she came like running after them. What are you doing? You said I could move things. I'm moving things. She watched me a little closer after that. So this is some of it. I took an entire section of the library and I made it a teacher workspace. Since the printers already had to be there, they weren't going to move them out. I said, okay, let's give them some tables that they can actually work. Let's give them paper, let's give them pencils, let's give them scissors, whatever they're going to need to make as they're printing. If they're making booklets, you give them the space. This is one of the pieces of the circulation desk. That's now the cricket maker area. I got my poster over here. There's usually a table here, but pictures got taken during a book fair going on. This here, donated from a local company. So I reach out to people a lot, and I try and get donations. I have a couch that was donated to my library. I've got one of those kind of rocking chairs that was donated to my library. I got this drafting table that has one of those easy seals back on it, so I get my cutting knife, and that's what I cut up all my posters and everything with, and it kind of seals right back up. It's nice. This was another piece of my circulation desk. So I have moved it to basically where it was originally, but I made it a student check-in now. And I was able to convince the district that they wanted to give me one of the old desktop stations. And that's what we use for the kids to check in. I do have to be careful because I'm the one signed in on it, so the kids are only allowed to scan with it. Now, in this station back here, there used to be bookshelves, and it lined with bookshelves. It's a very awkward shape, so shelves didn't really fit nicely in there either, and kids love to hide back there. So that's why I made this the teacher area, moved all those shelves out. While we were doing that, we reorganized everything. The kids couldn't ever think, I don't know who wrote that book, I don't know what author to go look up. And trying to teach them Destiny, I was trying. The librarian before me never showed them how to use it. So that's been something that I've been teaching them along the way, but we organized it by genres. Instead of an easy section, we removed that and we made it a picture book section. So all the different ages are even inside that picture book, but we have a character corner, we have an author's corner, And then all of the rest of them are dogs, cats, dinosaurs, monsters, pirates, whatever topics we could fit everything into. And the circulation has been going up. We changed all the chapter books into genre. I got another school to donate because they were going to get rid of spinner racks. So all my early chapterhood books are on the spinner racks. The kids love it. So reach out to the other libraries in your area. Maybe they're, trying to pawn things off. Even your public library. My public library just did a renovation. I didn't jump in on time, but I should have, because they were doing the same thing. Those big tables that I had in my classroom setting, I offered them up to teachers. I kind of was like, let's do a trade. Let's do what you need, like with the upper grades, because some of them had smaller tables or adjustable tables, because the tables I had weren't adjustable. In one of the other rooms of the library, they had, I'd say, elementary to middle school appropriate furniture, which was much better than what I had. So I moved all of that in there because they were wider, so I could get 2 kids across from each other. Now the people that come in for the meetings, they don't like it as much because the tables aren't as high, the seats aren't as high, but we could fit more people, and I was able to do a different formation with these tables as well. The chairs I had, they were probably twice as heavy as these. Didn't have the nice slides on the bottom, because I don't know if the kids broke them off or they just never had them. So trying to get a 5-year-old to pull their chair out and in, or even a high school, or the 5th graders sometimes, they couldn't lift them because they had to get lifted. I said, I don't want them anymore. They need to go. Especially if a student has an accident on them. You can't really clean those very well. So this is now my space. This used to just be rows and rows of those tables. So I got a carpet that a teacher didn't want anymore, and that's the reading area. Okay, that's the couch that got donated to me, and these are now wide enough where I can have kids on either side. So I've got 24 kids space on either side, and this I've jury-rigged as a charging station. So my school is a 1-to-1 school. So the kids are always forgetting to charge their devices. So that's the backup. If we're working on a project and they need to go charge, that's where they work. And I only have 2 ports in that room. Does anybody have problems with ports in their library? So my ports are empty for the most part. They're there, but there's nothing connected to them. So the one I have back here where I jury-rigged it, I had 1 working port. So I've moved the carpet on top of it so the kids can't put their hands in it either. And I put the table on top of the edge of the carpet so they're not pulling at it. So I was trying to think of how to keep it safe for the kids as well. I've got a lot of fidgets, lots of sensory kids in my school. They have to constantly move. So on some of these chairs, like she's actually sitting on a Virgo one right there, there are little gaps on the side there. So I've attached keychains that are poppets, or bracelets that are poppets. And they can just pop quietly while they're listening to the teacher or working on an assignment. So you can't even hear it. So that's been very helpful with some. On the table that I have here, I actually zip tied a couple of the poppets. Some of the other things that I have put on there, has anyone ever seen one of these ones? It's got a marble. If you attach just the sides, the kids can still just press the marble back and forth. Or felt, or pom-poms, sandpaper, Velcro, something that's going to just give them that sensory. And I always make sure that it is out of sight. It is not removable, because they will disappear or they'll just end up pulling it out and playing with it. If I have it attached, if I have it under the table, the other kids aren't really watching what they're doing and they're still paying attention to their project, or if I'm doing a read aloud. So if you were to have money for one piece of equipment, and that was something you needed, that's sensory. Virgo, if you guys went through their booth at all, one of the tables that they had there has, I call it the sensory strip around the sides. It's the binding that's on the side. It's actually called a Sure Edge, and it is made out of bed truck liner, that rough truck liner, so that they have that sensory. It's already built into the table. And it comes in lots of colors. It is an extra cost to have this type of binding though. I don't know how much. Oh, I have a security alert. Kids always bring their technology to my room. I don't always use it, but it's always there, and they like to wear their bags all the way down to their ankles because they don't like to have their straps up here. So I've always had bags all over the place, straps all over the place. So I fixed that. I went and got hooks. They're actually headphone hooks off of Amazon, but there's two, like it comes down like a T-joint. I think they're like $7 on Amazon. And I have put in the middle of each of the seating sections. And I did the extra screw just in case. And the kids all hang their laptops there now. They're out of sight. The kids aren't stepping on them anymore. They're not tripping over the bags. It's made it a lot safer and better for the technology as well. Anyone have tables that need to lift because the kids just want to stand, they don't want to sit? So I use bed lifts, okay? I don't put them on the chairs, I only put them on the tables, and it probably needs to be sturdier tables as well. And I get different types of stools if I want them to be able to sit as well. This one is just pure standing table, okay? They don't sit at that one at all. It's for those kids that always gotta be moving back and forth.
Is there a way to keep it from coming off the...
So, we haven't had a problem with it yet because of the lip in it, and it usually stays in pretty good, especially like this, or those metal ones. They sit in, they move a little bit. With these wood ones, they don't move at all, which is one of the great things about the old wooden furnitures, if it fits. They do come in different sizes too. This is a Virco table that I'm standing at. Did anyone go by the Virco booth and see the charging station? This is what they call the plateau table. Okay, it's got two outlets in it. Within those two outlets, there are two USB and two 3-prong outlets as well. So it's great. I have it at standing height myself because it's my standing project table. When my kids go off and do like their book trailer projects, they'll go off there with their partners and work at that table quietly. It does go lower, but that's not what I wanted it for. And I use it as storage underneath as well. All the reading buddies go under there. It's perfect for that. Teachers probably use it more than the students do. It is the table that we have when we first come in, because right around the corner is the teacher section, so if they're needing to also charge, they just charge up right there as well. This chair in the background was another donation from my community. So we do have a lot of mixed matched things, but the kids love all the options. Movement. Okay, so floor rocking, soft seating. So it just gives a little bit of give because it's the soft seating, but very lightweight. This is a rocker. The kids love that one mostly, the older kids more so than my younger ones when they're reading. And then these are reclinable floor seatings. Those we have in all of my kindergarten classes. And of course, you need the floor tables if you're gonna have a table setting with that.
Did you get those off Amazon?
I don't remember.
Okay. I think I saw one time, but it seems like some people say that the mechanism breaks and then they don't stay up. Have you had
Now this is the first year we've had these ones.
Okay.
So as of right now, they're still functioning.
Okay, all right, good.
Now the downside, I think, to having those, because of these are kind of like a felty cloth, and I have kindergartners with them. They don't like to clean their hands always, so they're not the cleanest by the end of the year.
So I have a question, because you said these are for your kindergarten stuff, so you've got one space, so where do you store all these things and bring them in and out depending on the age?
So I just have different, now this one is actually in a different library. This is one of my co-librarians that's doing this with me. That's at hers. I don't have that piece. Okay, so I have a couple tables that are lower, because as I said, I have a couple different rooms. So the one room I showed you was just the classroom setting. I have the other room where I have different tables and different chairs set up all around throughout, and they just drag them and bring them wherever they want. Like, this kid here is actually right at the entrance of the library. She's on the other side of this bookshelf. So when I say, okay, time to check out, this is usually the one that they go and grab and just carry it with them until they find the book that they want. And I try to tell them they can't do that, that they have to be checked out first, but they're very adamant that that's the chair they want.
And those blue ones at the top, they're collapsible, so they can stack up on top of each other.
So you can lay these actually flat and just stack them.
What's the cost of like the rocking chair, the little rocker and that blue chair?
Good question. So with the Virgo chairs, they have actually different backs to them, and they all vary roughly around $10 difference in between of them. So these are all the same backs, and then here's a different one, and then I didn't even do that on purpose. But you can tell the different types of backs they are by the shape and if they've got any designs in them. They range anywhere from about $150 to $200 per chair. This one, I don't have a picture of the kid using this one, but it's a wobble seat. You can lock it into place or not, and it actually like moves, and there is a locking mechanism underneath if you want it stationary. And there are kids that need stationary as well, especially if I was actually talking to a librarian at the hall the other day where they were saying that they had a student that was in a wheelchair and they were trying to get in and out of chairs. That was one of their goals. Well, they didn't want to use any chairs that moved, so they needed a stationary. So there are stationary chairs. This is just their choose to move and choose. So you can lock it and choose not to move or choose to move. I use beanbags chairs as well. Does anyone else use beanbag chairs? Anyone had trouble refilling them? Yes. So the first year that I refilled them, I actually got the nice, Big Go Green or Big Joe or whatever it is, and a parent filled it. I, for the entire year, had that stuff all over my room. It did not disappear. It didn't matter. It just clung to everything. So sheets, old stuffed animals, go get memory foam, something else that you can fill it. It'll still feel fine to the kids. I don't really care. Old clothes, like if you've got a family that's trying to get rid of clothes, stuff the clothes in there. And you can always wash them. You can pull them back out and wash them. I use pillows as well. The kids like to sit on pillows. Does anyone else have trouble with storage? Okay, I don't have like any storage areas where the kids come in if they've got books or anything other than I have them put their books on. Now these are examples from inside the classroom. As I said, I used to be in a classroom as well. And these were ones that have been around for probably 10 years. A grandma made them out of denim, sewed them together. Whereas these ones you can buy at the store wherever they last maybe 1 or 2 years. They are cheaper and you don't have to make them. But if you can find someone in your community that likes to sew and you buy them the fabric, they might be willing to make you guys some seat covers. They've been really great with our younger kids. So the stuff is right there. They're not having to go somewhere else to their cubbies and pick up and then get sidetracked along the way coming back to their seats. My custodial staff every summer and winter break waxes our floors. And the biggest thing that they gripe about is that the furniture is dragged across the floors. So one solution, tennis balls. Okay, they get a little dirty, but they don't cause any trouble to the floor. They make it super easy to push. Even the kids can push them around. Just put a cross and jam the legs in. It even works on carpet, not as well on carpet, but it's been great for all of our wax floors. Even if you're just trying to take something from a carpeted area to another place and you gotta go across the wax floor, using those if you don't have anything else. I've also used sliders, like the moving furniture. We've used those. However, in a classroom setting, if you're leaving it there, it doesn't work as well. Like if you're wanting to leave them around so they can get moved, I found that the tennis balls work much better. Okay, it's a lot cheaper than trying to buy casters and put them on the tables, even though that's an option. It just makes it easy and safe for the kids as well.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
So Amazon sells like these little socks that are made for chairs and tables.
Okay,
And they're fairly cheap.
I don't know about those.
Yeah, I had them when I was in the classroom. What are they called? They're called like
Chair socks? Okay,
And they
perfect.
have like little grippies, and you just slide it.
How long, like how well do they like stay up?
I used them for 4 years.
Okay, so chair socks. All right, perfect. I'm gonna have to bring that one back to my teachers that use the tennis balls. This is one of Virgo's tables. You're able to like pile them together. You can take the top and actually take it down, so it is foldable. It flips down, and it is movable. You can lock the wheels or not lock the wheels. So it is a great piece to have as well. If you're looking for a small, just portable table to be able to go somewhere to do a project.
Is that a one-person seat or is it two?
Depends on the size of the person. If it's like you as the teacher trying to do stuff, I would say it's just you.
They also come in a whole bunch of different sizes. I was gonna say it's not the same tabletop size.
This is one of the Virgo guys too. I'm glad he jumped in.
How much?
I was gonna say, again, it kind of varies, but you can probably count on it to be between the 600 range.
So can you help me then make sure I told them right? Because yeah, I don't really know the price. What's the range? I said about 150 to 200.
It depends. So these are gonna be by far the most expensive chair up here. These are kind of in the rockers are in like the 190 range. The floor rockers are gonna be 140 to 150, and that's shipping included.
Oh yeah,
These are
they don't charge shipping.
These are 240-ish once you get like the movement base in there, and then these can be north of 500.
So that's like approximately taxed and shipping.
Yes, yes. So everything when we price it out and send you a quote, we'll have at least shipping to take it to the school. It might not be taken off the truck for you, and it might not be installed for you. Those are other things that we can offer, but it will tailgate ship, which is or wherever.
So if you don't have a lot of funds, you have to buy like one chair at a time. You can still do that for the shipping, like, is the shipping gonna be a lot more?
No.
Okay.
No, so the shipping's factored per unit, so it'll just kind of, I was gonna say, it's factored into the price of the chair when it's sent to you, just because at the beginning of the year, they know how big the box is gonna be, and they know how much it weighs, so they just say, shipping for this chair is this much, so every time it's added to your quote, it just adds that.
Just where it's based.
I'm based out of Atlanta.
He's out of Atlanta. The Brian that was here is based out of
He's in Park City, Utah.
Utah, and then Shane is out of West Columbia, and then
Josh is Jacksonville.
Where's the manufacturer?
Manufacturers in Torrance, California, and
activity table of Virgo's, anything that has 4 legs, that's called one of their activity tables, you can actually change out and have different legs. So you could end up with a floor table, or you could end up with these legs that are adjustable, like, so you can go to the tall height or the shorter height. You can get them with the casters or not with the casters. So I have experimented with some of the seat bands before, and I have found that the ones that are just like almost like a rubber band that go across, I have found that they are not as durable. The kids love to play with them more. They literally stick their foot in between and just slingshot with them. Whereas these ones are fully rubberized. There's only 2 tiny holes, and you gotta stretch them to get the chair legs around them, and they get that just a little bit of a bounce. So it's almost like you're bouncing your feet. But in the room that I have these in, there hasn't been any problems with them breaking so far, or when the kids can't get their feet tangled in them. They've been great. So it's just, they make all sorts of different products. It's a matter of finding the right product that goes with your students, because I have a lot of students that love to play. And there's those recliners again. So that's a very, very short table. As I said, that's for kindergarten. And then these were some of our old tables that had adjustable legs and couldn't change out our tables, but they wanted floors, so they moved them down. So every summer, these chairs always get stacked with the teacher files, and then when the teacher files go back to the filing cabinet, they become the seats for the kids. Pillows on top. You do have to be a little careful with who might sit on those. You might have some bigger kids than others that might not be able to sit on those.
What about fire marshal? I used to have chairs like that in my classroom and we had to get rid of them because of the fire.
Our fire marshal has gone through about 3 times this year and has not said anything. So
We can't have any like pillows or anything like that that's not fire repellent.
we have to spray everything. Yep, everything has to get sprayed, and we have documentation of everything that gets sprayed. So my couch, the only reason they could donate it to me was because I could take everything apart, I could wash it, put it back together, and spray it down. So yeah, that is definitely something you need to be wary of. What are you allowed and what aren't you allowed? And they definitely check our charts when we have the signs, because I have actually curtains in my library as well. Because the different rooms I block off because one room might be used for testing. So I need to make sure that no one can look in and disturb the testers. So I have to spray those curtains down all the time. Mm-hmm.
I love all of your little tables and your different options. How, are you on a flex schedule, or like, are your kids doing projects, are they doing craft kind of things, or like what? We just have them for such a small time that really to do story time and check out. I mean, I'd love to have the opportunity, to have them use spaces like this. I'm just curious.
So I am in a fixed schedule. I see every single class in the school, including pre-K. So that's why I redid my classroom setting, so I would have a story area, I would have table areas. And the kids only go to the tables if they are working at the tables. Otherwise, we sit down on the floor, and some days I don't do a story. Some days it's just a picture book or one chapter from a book. And then we go out and do our projects. And I let them disperse out through the different rooms. Now, if my partner is not there, I have to be like, oh, okay, we need to corral back into one room because I can't watch all the different areas. So it does depend day to day sometimes if my partner gets called off to go do some other duty or to cover something else. And then I'm left to do the lessons and the book checkout and everything my own. To be able to watch them, to be able to do that, we do stay into one area. otherwise we spread out. So, as I was saying with the activity tables from Verco, if they've got the 4 legs, you can have the shorter metal legs that will go all the way down to the floor, where the floor rockers are great with it. My kids, I convinced a couple of teachers. 3rd grade is the one that's started this for me. They put their tables down, just not all of them, just some of them, around their room and put floor rockers with them. And it's actually really close to the outlet as well, so it works out for charging and working on their devices on projects. Also, portable working stations. I have probably 10 of these in my library that we use. I even use them for Lego centers. So I have Legos that are just in them and a Lego board that's attached to them, and they take them with them around the library, so they're portable and they can move around. Lizzie and my kids love to move. And then these ones are stackable. Like, they stack, but they're big. These stack as well. The kids sit on the bottom part, which holds the table down. So their weight is what's holding everything down. If they get up and they've left stuff on it, it will fall over. So they need to make sure that the stuff comes off. At least that's what I've experienced with them. Okay, so originally I had brought all sorts of different supplies for you guys to be able to redo the seating sections that you guys were at. Well, there's no tables, there's no seating sections here. So, kind of skipping that part. If you were to pick one thing, whether it's a fidget or whether it's a piece of furniture, and you could implement it right now that would help your students, what would you be able to do? What do you think you would do? Contacting community? I mean, that's been a big one for me, getting those donations in from community. That's where my bean bag chairs came from. That's where my couch, my recliner chair, my reading buddies even came from that. My Legos all came from other people in the community willing to donate to a good cause. And if you guys could do one thing, like right now, what would you try and do?
Different materials for centers, to create more centers.
They love the centers.
I think I wanna, I think we have some of the Virgo stuff, so I want to like make different height tables. Like right now, everything's the same height. I don't know, that'd be really, we never thought about changing it so that they're tall tables, they can stand and work like.
Now the standing tables, they don't work with my lower kids, obviously.
Yeah.
They try to make it work, but
Right.
when they come up to here, I'm like, sweetie, you can't work at it. And so they go under it, which I'm not bad either, especially when they've got their reading buddy. I've had students try to pull this type of chair up to it as well. And then when they sit to it, and I'm like, how are you working? Like, how are you seeing your laptop? And I was like, it's a standing table. But you could always get taller tables or stools like some of the ones that I had in there too. Anyone else?
They can pull the rocker underneath the chair, under the table. Use the rocker and go underneath the table.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I've had kids do that as well. So Shane is the Virgo guy in this area, and he, if you are at all interested, even in one piece, he can come to your library, look at your space, and help you determine even that one piece of furniture, or if you're able to do more than one, he can help you map out your library and give you quotes, try and help you with what's going to work in your space or not. He is based out of West Columbia, but he will come to you, you guys make a schedule, and he will make it happen. He's come to my place as well.
Is that just Shane Johnson at Virgo, or is it Shane Johnson?
Nope, Shane Johnson at Virgo.com. So I'm gonna be giving away these lovely chairs that are up here so that you guys can experiment. If you are interested in that, I do have an entry for you. And I put cups in front of each of them so you guys can try and get the one that you want. So we'll just do a little drawing if anyone's interested.
I can help you.
Beautiful. Thank you.